Hello. This is Joe DeIonno, Jack Kimmeth, Stefano Priante, Tim Sammon. And we are here to talk about the quiz that we just took. And it is a speech by Robert F. Kennedy about the assassination of Martin Luther King. And the thing that is weird to me is that Robert F. Kennedy, I didn't know anything about, but he was a presidential nominee, Democrat presidential nominee, and he was going to Tennessee to he was going to Indiana to say a speech, and right when he got there, he learned that Martin Luther King got assassinated. So instead of giving his normal campaign, he risked riots and concerns for his safety, and he said this speech that really had nothing to do with his campaign.
So he postponed his campaign just to talk about the death of MLK, and that's pretty much. That's what this speech is.
And it was definitely powerful, definitely.
Yeah, he uses a lot to get his point across, but I feel like, what do you guys want? You want to talk about the question first, or things he uses?
Let's go question.
Alright, so let's do, we wanted to do
26.
Yeah, 26, which is, it tells about, well, this whole thing is going to focus on paragraph 5 more than anything. And the question is, paragraph 5 contains an example of understatement, figurative language, sarcasm, logical fallacy, and an analogous example. So
it's obviously not C.
Yeah, we could just get that out of the way.
It's the worst possible time to ever use sarcasm.
Yeah.
So he's trying to be respectful. So that's automatically out.
Yeah. He wouldn't lie about a death in his family either. So it's not a logical fallacy. And it can't be an understatement because this speech was truly an overstatement, if anything.
Yeah, if you read the actual paragraph, there's a lot of emotion in it, and it's obviously he's not trying to downplay what happened. He's trying to kind of sympathize with what's happening. And I initially had it as figurative language, because when he says that I had a member of my family killed, and he was killed by a white man, I thought he was talking about Martin Luther King Jr. as a greater family of the American people. But
I didn't really get what he was saying too much because we didn't know his background. It was hard to understand it when he did it. I didn't even know. I knew he was a parent. Other than that, I didn't know anything. But for me, I chose analogous example because, for one, it is an example of his, it's like a personal anecdote, and he truly analyzes the situation with his own example, and he goes off that to make it truly powerful in his speech.
Yeah, so, go ahead, Tim.
I also had analogous example. I have no idea what analogous means. But it was just an example that he used saying he had a member of his family die, and you could just tell from the other voices that none of them really made any sense, because understatement, you wouldn't tell an understatement saying, oh, I had a member of my family die, and then logical fallacy and the other.
I kind of thought the same thing. I just knew it was an example, so I just wanted to do it. I didn't know what analogous meant, but it was an example, and that's the important part.
So go out to
we want to use two, or was it two?
Yeah, it's two.
So two themes or
literary techniques.
Yeah, that's what it is. I know what they are, I'm just not sure what they're called.
So the first one was repetition.
Definitely.
Repetition was definitely evident throughout the entire. Even from the first two paragraphs, you can see it. And one of the main examples, one of the main examples was paragraph 7. It talks about what he states what we need in the United States, what we need in the United States, what we need in the United States 3 times to get across this point.
I feel like, so with 7 and 8, it's so clear that there's a bunch of repetition in that. And there was another question about 7 and 8, 31. But it's concerning rhetorical strategies, but one of the choices isn't repetition. So it's so clear that both of these paragraphs have such heavy repetition in them. It was hard not to hard to overlook that looking for other literary literary strategies, rhetorical strategies.
Yeah, as I was reading it, there's like specific uses of it, like in each paragraph, but even the paragraphs are all very similar. Like there's only really one main idea, and that's peace.
Yeah.
The Martin Luther King. I felt like I was just reading the same thing over and over, like a little bit changed, but I guess it like helped us get his point across. And yeah, it was really obvious. Like if we were writing like the region, like that essay, the analysis, like this would be probably the easiest point. Just like it's so evident. And,
you could say he really knew who he was talking to get his point across, because obviously after such a tragic event, people's emotions are going to be fired up. Like he knows people are going to want to retaliate, and he's just keeps a peaceful tone throughout and just talks about how, yeah, this happened, you guys are angry, but we have to follow the message he was trying to portray, not the,
he tried to place himself in their shoes. Like he wasn't too like, we gotta keep peace. He was like, I know how it must feel.
Especially with how he keeps saying we. I feel like that's definitely a big thing. Where like he starts with, I have bad news for you for all of the fellow citizens. So immediately he's considering himself a fellow citizen. And then he's talking about, he keeps saying we, especially in that 9th paragraph where he says what we have to do for this country. But yeah, so that's repetition. And then what was the other one?
And the analogous example and definitely audience. Those are two rhetorical strategies he uses. And as Tim said, he definitely knew his audience and how that he needed to keep the peace during this time of just great despair throughout the entire country. And the analogous example they use is one that we explained before, in question 26. And also touching upon what Jack said, he also uses us throughout the entire speech to promote the repetition, to show how together the American nation was. That it should be, at least.
I think he knows who he's talking to, and how he kind of considers himself in the audience, and that's a big part of not only the repetition but also his word choice was a big part of it too.
Diction, definitely. I mean, you can find numerous rhetorical techniques throughout the entire speech, but repetition, analogous example, and the audience were definitely the three main ones that we saw throughout this entire speech.